The Guy Perryman Show.
Guy's guests. On InterFM 897, as I said, very happy today and tomorrow to bring you my interview with Rina Sawayama. Recently, she released a duet with Elton John, recently nominated for a Brit Music Award. Her star is rising. We had a chat just a couple of days ago online. Let's find out more. It is wonderful to welcome on board Rina Sawayama. Hello, Rina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How you doing? I'm in my pajamas. Where are you and what time is it?
Oh, I'm in my Uniqlo pajamas too, but it's quite late to be in my pajamas. It's approaching 11 a.m.
Oh, come on. Get out of bed.
Right? I know, right? At least I'm not in bed, so that's good.
Okay.
But I look like I should be in bed, so I'm sure everyone can relate.
Good. Well, this actually is going on air very early in the morning here in Japan, so perhaps a perfect time to...
everyone.
Are you a morning person? Possibly not. What's your routine in the morning?
I am such a morning person. I get up at 6:30. Yeah, literally, I turned 30 and I was like, bam, 6:30 a.m. That's what I'm going to do. I became a morning person after I left my 20s behind. I became a morning person. So I get up at 6:30. I make myself a cup of tea and I get back into bed, actually. And then I watch BBC Breakfast.
Oh, good. I love that. Cup of tea, back in bed. Perfect.
Back in bed, yeah. And I think because I was consuming the news on the internet and it was really stressing me out because it was information overload. You know, I think you kind of tend to see too many perspective and too much information. So I watched the BBC and I get my news fix in the morning so I know what's going on in the world. And then I get up and then I have breakfast and I exercise. And so everything and journal and meditate and everything I need to do for myself, that me time is all done before 10 a.m.
Wow, that's fantastic. I actually read quite a long time ago, and I now practice this. A lot of creative people have said the first thing in the morning, you should not turn on the news. You should write something, read something lovely. You should create something first thing in the morning. How do you feel about that? When do you create? When do you write?
Oof, I do agree with that, to be honest, but I am quite inspired by the things that happen on the news because it allows me to instantly feel empathetic for someone who lives a very completely different life to me. So I find that inspiring in a different way, although books are obviously amazing. I read as well. But I don't know. I think it's just a nice routine for me. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with my routine. I'll switch it up when it doesn't work for me. But,
cool. So when do you create? When do you write? When do you sort of have to sit down and work to write, or do things just come out of the blue?
So I'm constantly just got my ears and eyes open for any weird turn of phrases, even in books, you know, if there's an interesting sentence, I'll write it down. Or if I remember something from the past, I'll write it down. It really often is collecting a lot of collection of words for me. And then in the studio is where I, create. I've tried to write on my own, but I just don't like it.
Oh.
I don't enjoy it. I find it so much more fun to get in the room. It's often the producer, and then one more songwriter who helps me write. And, it just feels like so much fun. And that's how I started out writing, at school with other people. So I'm a pretty open book in studio sessions. So I feel much more comfortable that way.
How do you feel working with other people in that sense? Because I think with songwriters, you're always writing very personal things. Is that a difficult situation when you're collaborating with someone else, or do they bring possibly the best out of you?
I would say it's both. Sometimes it's difficult. I find it really difficult when it's a new person. And often when I'm working with someone new, I will lower my expectations for the first session, because I think what people don't realize is that pop music is often written in a day. So it's a very, very intense, very fast-paced thing. I write very quickly, but sometimes if you're writing something personal and you're not comfortable in the environment, then it can take a while. But now with the songwriters I'm really used to writing with, I'll just come in and be like, oh, I just had the most intense therapy session, but the therapist said this phrase, which I thought was really interesting, but I think I want to change it to this phrase. And can we go somewhere from there? And also I've been listening to this kind of music, and maybe we can use that as a starting point. And then I'll as soon as I'm in the room, it's so weird. These words will take on melodies that inspire me. So when I sing the phrase, it'll come out and then be an idea for a song. So it's pretty magical. But I think I try and do as much prep outside of the studio. And I often don't accept studio sessions if I'm not feeling inspired in that particular time.
One song that really hit a nerve with me is Chosen Family. And I love this concept of choosing family, and our friends and the people around us, the people we choose to have around us do become family. And one thing I love about living in big cities, and I think a lot of people in big cities love this kind of life, because we often go away from our families, we find new people, we create our own new families. And so that song really resonated. Where did that come from for you?
Well, thank you. I wrote it because my friends, my best friends from university, who are all queer, I wrote it for them. Like, I just wanted to write a song because the whole record was about family, and it didn't feel like it was resolved for me. But then I realized that, you know, you do choose your own family, and chosen family is a concept that's very important to the LGBT community. If you think about, you know, back when the AIDS, you know, pandemic was horrible, and, you know, like people were dying without seeing their real family because they hadn't come out to their parents and they were too ashamed. And so they would, you know, die either on their own or surrounded by their chosen family. And I think that's really, really important to remember how privileged we are now to have a very evolved definition of chosen family. Now, obviously, people are still going through so much hardship, especially across the last year. I can't imagine living in, you know, a situation where your family don't accept you, or you're transitioning and, you know, you're finding it very hard to talk about it with other people. But, you know, so I just wanted to write that song, imagining a safe space for people like that. And it comes from a really genuine place for me, you know, like, it's not, the LGBT community is not a concept for me. It's literally like my friends and me, and how I talk and how I communicate with other people. And I've learned so much from how my friends communicate about their problems, because, you know, often we're their support network. So I think, yeah, it's a really, really important concept for me. And I'm so amazed that, you know, it connected with so many people, and, you know, not least Elton John as well.
I was going to say, well, ditto to all of the above for me personally. And then, of course, yeah, there I see you and Elton John singing the song together. I mean, that was an amazing moment.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very high camp, that video. I love it. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, what else can you say? It's Elton John. You know, I just think he's one of the greatest songwriters and also performers in the whole world. His songs are absolutely timeless. So for him to say that my music is great, and it wasn't just Chosen Family, you know, he was playing Comme des Garçons and Bad Friend, but even before the record came out on his radio show. So he's been so supportive since the beginning. And for him to say, you know, for him to say that he wanted to sing the second verse exactly how it was because he loved the lyrics so much is phenomenal. And just, it's, you know, it makes me speechless every time. I still can't believe it happened. And luckily I was able to record it in person with Elton and able to see him. And I did a photo shoot with him. Obviously that video we shot together as well was done in person. But this is a friendship that really came out of lockdown. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
And I think that's one of the wonderful things about Elton John, the way he continues to listen to new music, young people, and support all sorts of other musicians.
Oh, absolutely. He doesn't have to do that, you know.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Game, like, he doesn't have to do that, but, you know, and it's not for show. He calls me all the time. He calls me about things that he's seen that he's very proud of, or, you know, calls me to tell me, he calls me when, you know, we get playlisted on the radio, or, you know, it's just a very genuine friendship. And, you know, when this is all over and it's safe to do so, we're going to have lunch together, go shopping, you know, it's just a friend. And and the first time we met each other was like, you're my chosen family. So it's such a privilege and honor, honestly. And he's just so hilarious as well. Like, he's just absolutely, I mean, if you see him in interviews, you can exactly see what he's like, but that's what he's like. And his whole family is gorgeous as well. So lovely.
Yeah. Well, hopefully more collaborations in the future, hopefully, maybe. Yes,
well, I've got something in the pipeline. There's something on Twitter that's been going a bit viral about me and Lady Gaga. So
yes. Can you tell us more, or tell us what you hope might happen?
Well, what I know is happening is that there is a remix album of Chromatica. and Chromatica being one of my favorite Gaga albums and my ultimate, you know, it really got me through last year, I'm not gonna lie. And you know, and there is a song that I might be on and might be doing the remix of, and you know, maybe I've already worked on it and maybe it's on its way out, you know, I don't know. It's all, I've done my bit and my team are working on it, and I think it's just all up to the universe now. But I have some other crazy stuff happening and coming out that I haven't told anyone too, and it's very, very unexpected things as well. So I'm really excited. I'm having so much fun in between the two albums, just kind of having fun with collabs and music.
Brilliant. A conversation with Rina Sawayama. Something with Lady Gaga is on the way. Ooh, follow Rina Sawayama's Twitter feed and you will find out more. Rina Sawayama does love Lady Gaga, as you will hear very briefly. More from Rina and Gaga in the future. That's it for me on this Tuesday edition of GPS, and my conversation with Rina Sawayama continues tomorrow. Enjoy your Tuesday, 1st day of June, and I'll see you first thing.